Hello, my name's Elijah Wells, and today's review is Wes Anderson's new movie, Asteroid City. Taking place in the mid-50s in a southwestern United States of America, the story centers around Argy, who's played by Jason Schwartzman, who's recently been widowed and is taking his kids to a stargazing convention that's literally in Asteroid City, which is in the California-Nevada area of America. Of course, being recently widowed, he begins talking to his neighbour at the motel, being the actress Mitch Campbell, played by Scarlett Johansson. All the lives around them, including the people staying at the convention centre and the subsequent motel, and as well as the uh, gas station and the cafe and the motorway that was never really completed, all goes fine and dandy until an alien comes and throws the entire convention over its head. There's also a lot more that goes into this story. The movie is basically a story within a stage production that's directed by Scrum Green, played by Adrian Brody, and written by Conrad Rapp, who's played by Edward Norton, and as well there's a massive subplot of Tom Hanks' character Stanley, who has a very strained relationship with Argy over Argy's wife's passing, which did really sour their relationship quite to a considerable degree. And of course, like a lot of Wes Anderson movies, the narrative flow and the storyline is best described as non-linear, even though it's basically something like on the same vein as like Grand Budapest Hotel, where it takes place in three different timelines. For this one, it takes place in just only two, which is again deeply intriguing but still really great. Again, prevalent of his signature style, it being his extremely extravagant, extremely bright colors, his use of symmetry, and of course his very gorgeous mise en scène and his very incredible reliance on using a lot of practical sets, which have been a mainstay for Wes Anderson films pretty much from day one, which is incredibly intriguing since there's been a massive trend on TikTok about AI art of Wes Anderson movies, like Wes Anderson does Succession, Wes Anderson does Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Avatar. Again, he did an interview, I think, well, with the Times newspaper, where he did disavow these trends, even ones of the my daily life in the style of Wes Anderson. He says he did admit he wants to delete it out of his head, and he kind of wish he can say back to them that don't tell me how to do my own movies. Like, he's definitely very potent enough, a very strong, a very admirable film director, and of course an auteur to have people like mimicking his style and him to basically respond saying, "Hey, I do not like this, so please stop." Again, how Wes Anderson does have his non-linear way and almost off-kilter way of thinking through things, like having a Central European hotel in his previous movies and futuristic Japan, and of course a convention in the middle of a desert that gets interrupted by a alien. There is always a major spark of his energy, like particularly in a scene where they're doing a graduation ceremony until an alien ship comes down and picks up the meteorite that did form like a massive crater that's essentially big as a town, and like stares at people and just goes up and goes away. And later on in the movie, he returns it and just and finds out he left some catalog marks onto the meteorite, which is again caused everyone to panic. And again, this is like a particularly hilarious scene where he just really subverts all the audience's expectation of what do you expect from him. Again, I believe it was like puppetry or stop motion, or definitely somewhere down the middle where he used both, like he did with Isle of the Dogs or Fantastic Mr. Fox, which again I'm very pleased that he's used that very thoroughly, to my opinion, which I again really like of him. Even though this is one of the weirder films Wes Anderson done, which I'll explain a little bit later, but I think this is definitely one of the more spiritual movies out there, since it is basically it's about consolidation, if you want to boil the movie down, which is basically Argy being played by Jason Schwartzman, as usual, trying to console his children that his wife has passed away, and of course trying to reconcile with Tom Hanks' character Stanley over that. Again, even though a little bit selfishly for some reason kept the death away from the children for weeks on end, and just telling them while they're in the middle of a holiday, which even though a little bit dickish, but I can see at a certain angle of what Wes Anderson is trying to achieve, but I think this is starting to lean into one of the film's uh, uh, big flaws in the movie, in my opinion. I think one of the biggest flaws in the movie is just, I think, the discussions around the philosophy of faith and the discussions of witnessing supernatural or phenomenal events come off as pretty heavy-handed, in my opinion. Like, it kind of just forces it down your throat, and almost comes off as a teeny bit judgy at best, but not in a way that's a bit mean-spirited. I think it's a way that Wes Anderson didn't quite help the audience grasp it in a more digestible or more of an easier sense of a word. I think it was just not a concept he tried to dumb it down for the audience in some sense of a word, even though, again, it just feels a titty bit hammy and a titty bit fisted in sense of word of its approach of a lot of its philosophical topics, like longing for faith and reconciliation. I think, again, it does feel a bit overly sentimental in a stronger sense of a word, even though I'm not disappointed by it. I think this is kind of a movie that really, really emphasizes that overall. Again, the humor in this movie is actually really, really good. Particularly in the scene where Bryan Cranston, who's the film's narrator throughout the entire movie, accidentally walks into the wrong scene, and then we see the main character's, "Oh, you're not meant to be in this scene." Like, am I? Okay, like, that moment is just legitimately brilliant. And of course, how the town and the general, played by Jeffrey White, completely freak out once information of an alien invasion just leaks onto the press. And him absolutely panicking is also, don't know why, really hilarious. And the entire city just got turned into a theme park about aliens, which again really annoyed the residents. Well, I just see an absolute humour in this. And of course, like I said earlier, one of the inventions, outside the one that grows plants very quickly, not just a jetpack, not just the gun that disintegrates atoms in midair, but no, it's the one invention is like projecting images onto the moon. Like, even the American flag and even like some crew stickers onto the moon. Like, this is just so much of a useless invention that I can't want to have it myself in a grand scheme of things, or maybe somewhere, somehow, Elon Musk is going to make one of his own. I think also another big problem I just realised about the movie is I feel like the movie didn't branch off into way too many directions. Like, we don't see more of this particular world than we should have. Like, we already see Asteroid City and Edward Norton's world, the playwright's world. And something like the French Dispatch, you do see the culinary chef, you do see food criticism, you do see the publication side, you do see student revolutions kicking off. Again, even though he has a very distinctive idea of world building, but I feel like he kept it to a minimum for some reason. Again, he did do something like the Royal Tenenbaums, which has, even though a bit of goes on the minimal side of how the world operates and how the world looks, how the world lays out, I feel like he could have done a little bit more about how the world stretches beyond Asteroid City and where the playwright lives and work. Asteroid City, even though this is not the strongest film Wes Anderson has done, nor is his best, this is definitely another crowd pleaser and an aesthetically pleasing movie that he came up with. The dialogue, again, is great, the direction is good, even though the world building does need some improvements. The characters are oddly very sympathetic in a way that's off-kilter and charming at the same time. And even discussions about faith and about reconciliations and mourning a loss may hit a chord with the audience in even the right way or in the wrong way. But I think this is a movie that I feel like it's going to get a lot of people talking for a very long time, even in a good way or even in a bad way. But I feel like this is the one film people are going to say they even like it or they're going to either hate it when it comes to like the grand schemes of Wes Anderson movies. But for me, Asteroid City is a 7 out of 10. So, what do you think of Asteroid City? Like this video, comment below, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. This is Elijah Wells, and bye.